And this is Leo Gondolfi Jr., and he was in the army during the Korean War, right? And he's got lots of stories. In fact, one of the stories he's just telling us about, everybody knew Leo Gondolfi, and everybody had Leo Gondolfi trim their shrubs.
Or my children.
Yeah, they did it too, right? Yeah.
I like to brag. I had 3 valedictorians. You ever hear anybody have 3 valedictorians in high school?
Isn't that great?
No,
He's very proud, and I love it.
And they all graduated from the University of Illinois. They all
Exactly.
all 5 of them got degrees from the University of Illinois.
Wow.
And
that's good parental guidance.
yeah, I kind of like myself.
No, I don't. I know what she's going through, but you know what? That's just wonderful. You should be so proud.
Well,
and I love to hear people tell about children and being
well,
proud.
I am.
That's
I am,
what you had wonderful children.
But let me think now. I used to trim your evergreens.
You sure did. Well, you trimmed all our shrubs.
Yeah, but you know what you did?
What?
You know what you did now?
What?
The guy that used to, because I didn't charge a lot.
Yeah, but you're not doing it anymore.
No, but don't get mad now or nothing. But the guy that cut the grass, you got him to do it.
Well, who am I
Don't
supposed
you
to
remember?
get? Who am I supposed to
Well, I
get?
was still trimming.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, don't feel bad. See, I got a bad memory, but because of the morphine, you understand, I took it medically, so I'm not on it, but it wrecked my memories, but certain things I remember. Feel lucky, you're in my, you had me go down, when you changed your business in Ottawa, you had me go down.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago. I remember it. You remember it.
Yeah. Well, I know you did a very good job.
Well,
and I just remember.
we had all the Chamber of Commerce. My kids, when they went to college, every day they go to Ottawa, and we had all we did. I was just telling the guy out there, we did the old Hagerly.
Okay.
Not the old one.
Yeah.
And he was head of the Chamber of Commerce in Ottawa.
Yeah.
He told somebody, everybody that belonged to the Chamber of Commerce, when my kids went to University of Illinois, we landscaped in their yard.
That's right.
That was interesting. But you did get me though, to go down and when you changed officer.
Well, when we went to Ottawa on Boyce Memorial Drive, what I didn't know probably is that you even worked in Ottawa. We thought that maybe you just worked in Marseilles.
But I went down there though and did it for you.
Well, I can't remember.
Honest to God.
Your memory's better than mine.
No, my memory is real bad and it's selective. But I went down there and see, I remember that.
Okay. Well, you know what? We're supposed to be talking about the Korean War.
Well, I like to talk to you though. You're a nice person.
You're a character.
Oh, Korean War. I ended it. They said,
they
said Leno's here. I talked him to death. They said, I seen Seoul. Get this, there's 18 million people in Seoul now, see. There was 1 million pre-Korean War. The reason we let that idiot, we haven't got after him, is because 18 million people in Seoul, they artillery fire and rocket fire, they're only like 17 miles from the demilitarized zone. Did you know that? That's why, and he's a nut, you agree with that, the guy, the North Korean leader. It's only 17 miles from it. Well, the rockets, and even I think some artillery maybe even could go, but the rockets, they would decimate Seoul.
So you were actually over in Korea.
Oh yeah, I seen Seoul when there was only 7 buildings left. I was a heavy equipment operator, and I was working up there in Kempco Airfield. You remember you hear it on TV, Kempco Airfield? I worked on that airfield. It wasn't an international airfield then because the Japanese conquered Korea in 1904, and they were mean. They were fellow Orientals. Did you know they used human waste? You should have got me in here later. I'll tell you a lot of stuff. When I was in Korea, the fertilizer. Korea was poor then, real poor, and they used human waste to put on the rice. And the women did the work. You plant rice early and still cold, and you know how the fields are, And the women would be in there, so help me God, it was, the war was just over, you know, because it only took me 6 days, you see, so it was over. And the women were in that cold water planting the rice, and they had rubber shoes only, rubber shoes, no socks. The shoes were made out of old GI tires, you know what I mean? And you ever hear of Mickey Mouse boots? You know what a Mickey Mouse boot is? You ever? Yeah, insulated boots today, you can't hardly even tell they're insulated. But when they come out with the Mickey Mouse boots, you had about that much air. So they look big, they call them. So I'd be there with my Mickey Mouse boots on, and then poor women, always women, not the men. The women would drive, the men would drive the honey wagon. You know what a honey wagon is?
Now, where was it? Was this in North Korea or South Korea?
South Korea.
In South Korea,
South
right.
Korea.
Right, yeah.
What year would that be? 50, see, that morphine, you probably think, I talk so much, but I don't have really don't have a memory, yeah. I know, but I don't.
I think you're doing great.
Yeah, but
53?
53, yeah.
Well, the
Yeah.
Korean War really lasted from 50 to 53, but then we called it the conflict. So
Yeah,
you might
yeah.
have been over there when it ended.
Well, that's
but it was
when
still a
I was there.
conflict.
See, I was, you know, in your head, I'm not trying to lower your knowledge about geography, but you know where Incheon is, or where Seoul is? And MacArthur went in through Incheon.
Yeah.
Well, I would, where we lived, I didn't do no fighting, I tell people, but I lived in a tent for 16 months, in a tent. And all we had, you ever see that MASH on TV, they got these little kerosene stoves? You could stand up next to the damn stove, if you'll pardon me, kerosene stove, and you never knew it was on. And then they had what they call night watch, and they'd come through and they put the setting down from like 6 to 3. We'd go to bed with, I'm not no hero or nothing, but I tell you what, how the life we had, we'd go to bed with all your clothes on, see, and you got long johns, and then you'd be in the sleeping bag, and I'm telling this to a guy I know, but he was in the army at the same time, but he was in Germany. They'd be like in the dormitory in Germany, regular, you know, and when I was in the tent, all you had was that canvas between you and the North Pole, you know, and so then you throw, then you go in the sleeping bag, then you throw stuff over, blankets over to keep warm.
Wow.
Yeah, I tell you, this is interesting. I know you're busy in that there, but in Korea it was a little different. See,
You didn't have
well, I mean,
you
how
didn't
the
have
people
daily showers and clean clothes for sure.
Well, where our base was built, our camp, there used to be a trail going through there because the poor Koreans were living like on one side in thatch huts, and I can prove it. I got slides. Thatch huts, straw huts. They'd all sleep together at night to keep warm. The kids, the mother, the father, and then they, like I say, they saved the poop because that's what they fertilize, and we call them honey buckets. And the poor women did that. The men drove the honey wagons. What we call them honey wagons. They had the oxen and a big. See, I never used to be so dumb, but well, because of the morphine, which you don't understand that I have no desire for, but they give me all that morphine. See, so and that's why I always talked a lot. Now I never shut up. I go out to total strangers and talk to them. The wife wants to go, we'll be in Walmart or something. I'm holding on to the guy for he can't get away. She'll vouch. Yeah, she wants me to shut up now, but yeah. And you know they used to have 3,400 people working at Libio's. Did you know that? Did you know that? You know where Libio's
Yeah,
they make all the windshields for General Motors.
Right.
There was up to 3,400 people there, and I was looking at my old records, and I made 1 year. I'm 86 years old now, and I left the mills when I was 56 years old. I made $40,000. I lived down there. I mean, that's a lot of money back then. You understand?
Yes,
it would
yes.
equate. I figured it'd probably equate to at least $150,000
Now.
today, because she knows that I work 7 days a week all the time, and I had they called it the glassmaker. I think you've heard that they had a strong union down there.
Right.
The glassmaker actually, where you melted the glass, I made all the adjustments.
They made windshields.
Yeah,
and
but
things like that.
I would make the adjustments, not the foreman. Any other plant, the foreman.
So about how much an hour were you making?
Well, but I worked, like a lot of times I work 7 days a week, never take a day off,
So you worked how
but you
many
got-
hours?
no, short changes. I would work 8 hours, a lot of times go home, they call it short changes, you go back. You could work doubles, I didn't like a double, that's 16 hours in a row. I did the short changes, but I know you're not gonna tell nobody or nothing,
Yeah, you're only on TV.
Oh, I shouldn't tell her that.
No.
I never inherited any money, you know.
Leno,
But she don't want me, and I won't tell you, cause you won't tell nobody else, but you wouldn't believe what I'm worth.
Leno,
And you're the wealthiest person in Marseilles. Oh, yes, you are.
Leno.
No, it's no offense, it's a great honor.
Well,
I'm shot, okay, I can't help it, she understands, I got no desire for the morphine, but it's wrecked me. But I ain't happy about that.
okay, why would they give you morphine?
Oh, I was in terrible pain.
yeah, he
Oh,
had a ruptured
God.
colon.
A ruptured colon?
They took 3.5 inches off of it,
Yeah.
and
When was that? When you were in the service?
No,
No.
2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Oh,
Oh,
2 now? Oh, yeah, well, and the doctor told Beverly he did all he could, but he thought I was gonna die.
oh, you're not ever gonna die, I think.
Well, I'm stubborn, but I'm stubborn, I think there's different ways of being stubborn. There is different ways of being
Oh,
stubborn.
I'm sure, yeah.
No, there is. And I'm a great talker, you know that.
But you know what? You look pretty healthy now. That was 2 years ago. We'll
Oh,
see, you
I
know
got
what?
no memory,
Yeah,
though.
we'll see you back here next year, I
But
know.
I can't
Yeah.
walk.
Okay, Leno, you're done.
And Libby Owens, you know how sitcoms are. You see the guys are always talking about their wives.
Yeah,
I used to, really, at Libby Owens, I used to say I got a great wife. And they,
you better.
well, yeah,
Because she is.
yeah, well, she is. But down there though, this is like a sitcom, and I tell you the truth. I don't lie. I'm telling you the truth. They'd all laugh at me, and I'd laugh at them. I'd say, hell, you go home, the wife's the boss. Who the hell you trying to kid? And you know when I went in the army, that I knew I was going to go in the army. Listen to this. You'll never hear nothing like this at all. I worked at Bakelite in the office. See. I ran.
That's another a plastic factory that used to be in
Yeah, so I
ours.
was an office machine operator.
Okay.
I goes in the army. We're all, you know, the Korean War was on. You didn't weigh down. They just drafted you. We were only like 18 or 19, you know. And this is a good story though. So if I can get it right, so well, I'm confused. How did that story go about Korea? About because oh, they were all farmers, because we were just real young, and nobody was a machine operator or the big heavy equipment. You know what a D8 is, and a Cat 12 grader, big grader. Nobody were too young, so they were all farmers. They sent me with 46 farmers. Because the office got, we had to check our records in the Army when we got down to Fort Leonard, and the office got deleted, and it just said I was a machine operator. So I trained with 46 farmers, and in Korea, this is the God's truth, he knows that they're like A, B, C, and D company, you know, when we were headquarters company, 2 companies used to ask by name for me. And I was only in the Army 22 and a half months, and I was a corporal. And if I stayed in Korea 10 more days, I was going to be a sergeant.
They knew you knew a lot.
Well, I'm proud of that though. I would have been a sergeant.
Yes,
I had my sergeant stripes already in my foot locker. That's what you did. And then as soon as the orders came through, then you brought your shirts up to the. We had a Korean tailor. See, we had a Korean tailor. You know, the war was over then. See, and I know I'm boring and everything. And Saturday, I think about it every damn day. I could have been, and when I was real young, so when I come home, I check the mailbox every day, seeing if the orders come through. I was going to be a sergeant. Like I said, I was only in the Army 22 and a half months. Naturally, once I left the battalion, I was done. But I was young, and I remember my dad seeing in the Ottawa paper years ago, they had a separate section for Seneca, Marseilles, and that, and they had in there that I made corporal. And my dad said, people come up to him at work and they'd say, I went through France, I went through Germany, and I was only in PFC, and your son's a corporal, you know, he was so proud.
Yes,
I thought,
yes.
Christ, if it had been just a few more weeks and they had it, I was a sergeant, they really would have,
So you have no regrets about serving your country?
Oh, no, in fact, I'm kind of crazy, I guess, I got my hand on, look
There,
what I wear,
oh my
look what I
God.
wore, this
Yes.
is for my Army,
It's very good.
but
Yes.
like I say, I didn't do no fighting, but I slept in a tent.
Yep.
For
Yeah.
16, would you like to sleep in a tent for?
No showers and no clean clothes?
Oh, we had a shower,
Oh.
but it was gook water, they called it. They used to use that bad slang for the Korean gook water. You couldn't drink it, because see, they use human poop. I told you about that, didn't I?
Yes.
The honey wagons and honey
Yeah.
buckets and that.
Yeah.
And so you couldn't, and you
Oh my
couldn't,
gosh, you had to
and
shower.
they would try to sell you fruit and that, and vegetables, and they said, no, because the human waste in the honey buckets
Oh.
and, yeah, this,
Well,
I talk, but it's funny, I'm talking now, I always talked a lot, but with that morphine that they give me
You
at
think it was the
hospital.
morphine, huh?
Yeah, but you understand, that being it was medically given to me, I have no desire for morphine, but would you believe it, I never shut up.
It made you talk.
I walked to total strangers in Walmart, and the wife wants to go, and I'm hanging on to the guy. See, just like
And it
now,
was-
he can't get away from me.
Well, you really think it was the morphine, or do you think it's maybe just your personality?
Oh, I always talked a
You're very
lot.
vivacious and you're,
Well,
because the
yeah,
morphine is a painkiller.
and I like to brag too, you know, 3 of my children are valedictorians.
Yes.
You know
That
that?
is really
Did I
something,
tell her
that is
that?
mystery, yeah.
She's mad at me about it, because I'm saying that.
No, you should, I love to see parents proud,
Yeah.
that's wonderful.
Yeah, but you don't remember when you changed in Ottawa, you called me up and I went down there and made things look nice. For when
Well,
you sold
I
it.
just,
You were gonna sell the
all I
building.
know about you is that you have a wonderful wife, Bam, and then I know too that you had such a great reputation of doing such a good job in yard work.
Yeah, well, that's, yeah,
Yeah.
but I didn't hold it against you, but then you had the guy that, he cleaned or something, so then he started trimming up at your,
I don't
but he
know
followed
why.
he followed my patterns though.
You must have told me you're not gonna trim for me
No,
anymore.
honest, no, don't feel bad.
No,
But don't feel bad, but,
Okay.
and you remember the story too, you remember the doctor's wife got raped in my house, you know that?
Oh, yes, the
Yeah,
Dr.
the-
Hayes'
where I
wife
live.
yeah.
It was, right across the street from when I was a kid, where I lived, but they were interviewing a lot of people, but they seen that I was at work. You know, I couldn't have nothing to do with it, I was at work, but they even checked up on me, cause they never did get the guy, did they? No, they never got the guy.
That was, I don't know, it was a rape, it was, somebody stranger coming in to use the telephone.
Yeah, that was the
And,
guy.
They never did find out who almost strangled her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just to
big
get in the house.
Marseilles news
And,
for that,
and you know what, and we lived there, and our back step was only 8 foot for the sidewalk, the closest of anybody in Marseilles, but I never worried me there because I'm not a nut or nothing, but the nightstand were, I was in the army though, and I know, and I got a 38 and a 380. I was wondering if I could still rack the 380. You understand about racking because I had so much arthritis. But a retired police officer was at our house a couple of weeks ago, so I says, well, as long as you're here, I'll see, because I don't want to get it hung up, or I didn't have no trouble. So, in other words, the 2 guns I got there, a kid couldn't get hurt.
Yeah.
See, I had a gun collection, I had 89 guns. I sold one, I shouldn't tell you guys, but you ain't gonna tell nobody. I sold one for $7,000.
So you're gonna be on national.
I mean, I have to buy-
Leno, you are on TV.
Yes.
That's recorded?
Yes.
We're gonna send it to the police department after this.
No, you're not recording all, but
Yes,
I was
yes, oh, yes.
Her kids wanna see it.
You know what, this is gonna be be interesting.
No.
And I know you don't care.
No.
This is interesting.
No, my
Yes, you're-
voice?
Yeah,
Yes.
your voice, your figure, what you look like, yes.
Yes.
Well,
You're being
You're
recorded.
gonna be on the computer
No, you
nationwide.
can't, what I just told you, you're kidding.
We're gonna edit it out.
Yeah, will
Would you please